right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all the praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shah, Bahashim Makakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of the great millstone who rule and teach well, and peace and safety, and much blessings to the elect of the nation of Israel that's pushing this truth out the four corners of the earth with all truth and sincerity and in diligence. Shalom. And I'm going to just play these clips, all right, to let you know, and you're gonna see, from these clips, what time that we in. Now, brothers go week in and week out, we prophesying on the things that's happening currently in the earth, because that's what we're in. This is what the time that we're in. The scriptures tell us in, let's see, second Esdras, say that second Ezra 15. Oh wow, man. This is second Ezra 15:1. It says, "Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord. I will cause them to be written on paper, for they are faithful and true." All right, so we're speaking the words of prophecy, in the ears, of the sincere and true believers, right? That's what we're doing, and this is what our lot has been, to continue to serve the Lord and speak the words of prophecy, okay? So, what I'm about to show you is that, the evidence, all right, and if you can see through the spirit, the evidence that, Esau, Edom, all right, he that sitteth in the seat, is straight up letting showing you that he's about to bring society into a digital enslavement. Okay, brothers has done videos on this. I'm just getting around to it. Okay, so I'm about to show you these clips, and this is what we're about to walk into, right? This is what's about to take place, here on the planet Earth, man. Amongst with all the other things, famine of the word, World War III, martial law. This is what's going on. Okay, the uproars of the people, earthquakes, and tempests, all these things that are happening, man. You know why? Because right here in Mark 13, it says, "Now learn a parable of the fig tree." 13:28. "Now learn a parable of the fig tree. When her branches are yet tender," right, "and put it forth leaves, ye know that summer is nigh." So it's basically saying, when her branches are yet tender, when you see these, things are happening in the earth, man, right? These things that you see that the Lord spoke about, put it forth the leaves, these prophecies, are showing, right? Are speaking loud. Know that the end, and the return of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai is near. Okay? Like this is the, this right here, what I'm about to show you is the end all be all, prophecy, which, leading into the end all be all prophecy, that we really waiting on. So, just get ready, because this is what those those leaves, the branches are being tender, like the times are that we're walking into, and these prophecies are showing, right? This is what the Lord was talking about. So I'm gonna start with this one.
The UK is about to announce a nationwide digital ID system, and I'm not freaking out. Which is weird, right? Because I have concerns about everything, especially when it comes to government surveillance. But here's the thing. Digital ID, that might actually be fine. It's what comes with it that we should be watching closely. The Labour government is reportedly unveiling a digital ID scheme any day now, potentially during their upcoming party conference. The idea is this: it's a secure and digital way to verify whether somebody has the legal right to live, work and rent in the UK. You would use it for things like right to work checks, renting property, and possibly in the future accessing public services like the NHS. And yes, that is a big deal. Because if you're a citizen or a legal resident, you would be expected to have one. Now, before everyone starts commenting this is literally 1984, let's talk context. Digital ID systems already exist. Estonia, for example, has one of the most successful and secure digital ID systems in the world. It lets their citizens access healthcare, vote, file taxes, all digitally, securely, and with full transparency. So no, this isn't inherently dystopian, it's not a brain chip, it's not a social credit score, it's not a real-time facial recognition dragnet. At least not yet. But here's where my eyebrow started twitching. This digital ID rollout is happening just months after the Online Safety Act came into force, a law that now requires us, everybody, to verify their identity to access online content, including, apparently, sobriety apps. So forgive me for being a little bit cautious when the government says, hey, we're going to be rolling out mandatory digital identification for everyone, but it's fine, it's totally different. Which, yeah, sure. Until it isn't. The concern isn't necessarily the ID itself, it's how it could be used in combination with everything else. You've got the OSA, which requires ID for harmful online content, e-visas, which are mandatory for non-citizens, the Gov.uk app and digital wallet that have ID documents on your phone, and now digital ID for citizens. You stack all of that together and then suddenly every aspect of your life can be monitored or denied based on ID-linked access. That's where the slippery slope is. That's the part that people should be debating. Not should we have a modern digital way to prove who we are, but rather what protections are in place to stop this becoming a tool for control. So no, digital ID doesn't scare me. What scares me is how quickly we're normalizing digital dependency without building any real oversight into the systems behind it. Starmer says it'll stop illegal migration. Okay, but what stops a future government from requiring that same ID for buying a train ticket or accessing protest information? If it's coming, we better shape the conversation now, because once that infrastructure has been built, it's very easy to change how it's used, and that's when things get dangerous. So keep your eyes open, support tech that empowers, and scrutinize tech that controls, because the line between those two is thinner than ever.
And what they're gonna do, they're gonna use this digital ID as a way for get the people to conform to, getting it. They're going to make it mandatory to have this. Just watch. We'll go here.
Looking at digital ID cards at the moment, how would that help prevent the situation that we're in now?
Well, Keir Starmer, our Prime
And all this is recent.
Minister, has said we are looking at what other countries have done to bring in a sort of digital accreditation. I think there's real actually benefits right across here, from obviously dealing with illegal working, but also actually imagine if your viewers imagine that they had one credential that would allow them to access all the different government services and our public services too. I'm sure many of your viewers often tear their hair out with all the different numbers and passwords of the different bits of government that they have to deal with. And I do think could be a real benefit here for people who are here and working legally and accessing our public services if there was one route in, as well as the benefits it could have with illegal migration. We're looking at that. I think it is an interesting idea that other countries have.
All right, so, they're going to use this as make it convenient, make America, safer. All right. They're going to package this thing to make it look like it's for your benefit. And they're going to do all of these things, and they're going to use more psyops, man. They're going to do all of this. You got to understand that we dealing with the devil that the Bible speaks of, right? Who's the forger of lies. And he wants to, to continue to sit in the power seat, right? So his mission, his MO is this, you got to check out the Agenda 30. This right here, what, going into is on that. So go check that out. Do your homework. Check this out. So I'll play this.
Why is Vietnam the testing ground for the new banking order? Well, recently, Vietnam imposed a requirement for a digital ID, including a biometric scan of everyone in order to have a bank account. And what they did to enforce this is they closed 86 million bank accounts. and seized all of the assets in those accounts. So the owners of those accounts have no ability to do banking or access their funds because they chose not to sacrifice their privacy and submit to this biometric surveillance tracking mechanism. Well, this is not something that is going to stay in Vietnam. This is a test because if we look at, for example, what's going on with the European Central Bank and Digital ID initiative in Europe, as well as the Real ID and the CBDC system, FedNow, being imposed in the United States, we can see that it is coming to us as well. So what are being imposed in the United States, we can see that it is coming to us, the European Central Bank and Digital ID initiative in Europe, as well as the Real ID and the CBD in Europe, as well as the Real ID and the CBDC system, FedNow, being imposed in the United States, we can see that it is coming to us as well. So what are you going to do about it?
See? So you just recently had 86 million bank accounts closed in Vietnam, right? Closed in Vietnam because they didn't want to hand over their biometric data, man. Which is, like going to like your fingerprint, your facial recognition, things that make up, who you are biologically. Okay? They didn't want to, and I seen the elder brother Tazama of Dallas. He did a video on it. He went into an article that says that this is mandatory for them to conform there. Now think about this, man. Think about this. And he said, with the Real ID system that's being established here in America, with the FedNow, if you remember this, it was like 3 years ago that FedNow had came about, right? Understand, this happened in Vietnam, which is a testing. They test everything outside of America, and they're going to bring that right here. You here in America, what separates you from the man walking on side the road? You driving in your little car, your little get up, and he's walking on a bike. Y'all bank accounts is that will separate y'all. Because once that's eliminated to where they close your account, you ain't got your decent little credit score, you can't pay your mortgage, you can't pay your car payments because, hey, you call yourself not, handing over your biometric data, you're going to conform to this society if you do not have the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahshua on you, right? You're going to conform because what is leading up to, the point I'm getting at is that what is leading up to is them to put the RFID micro C-hip in your skin, right? Now, at some point in time, we're going to have to deal with the CBDC regardless, right? We're going to have to deal with whatever it is until they want to put it in your skin. Once they say this is mandatory for it to go under the skin and this is how, you're going to make payments and that's whenever, us inspired to beat of the elect, man, hey, we can't do that. Just like it was in the time of, you had Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, when, and Daniel and Mordecai with wicked Haman, man, and you had, what it was, whenever, I think it was Mattathias, whenever they wasn't conforming to, the Greeks, man. It was like, no, we not getting down with that. So the thing is that what are you gonna do? This is the society that this devil is about to bring in, a digital enslavement. Okay? That he wants to heap all people into himself, right? To know everything about you, to have your biometric data, where you are, controlling your behavior. Watch this. Let me play this last video.
Is tracked and scored to show how responsible and trustworthy she is. It's called the social credit system, and in one version now being tested, a person's reputation is scored on a scale of 350 to 950. It's big data meets Big Brother, expanding how the government monitors, understands, and ultimately controls its 1.4 billion citizens. Thanks to advances in artificial intelligence and facial recognition. and a web of more than 200 million surveillance cameras.
Are people bothered by privacy concerns?
We think the lot of camera keep the safety is really good. We can accept it.
Companies are experimenting with the algorithms to help the government create the new national social credit system. The government also has pilot projects. In one, citizens are required to do hours of unpaid work to get benefits, and scores are docked for things like littering, a messy yard, gossip, even jaywalking. Video of offenders is shown on the local news. And information collectors like Zhou Aini are paid to report on their neighbors. Her quota, 10 entries a month. Like the man who carried a drunk person home. A good deed, she says. Good social credit gets rewarded with perks like cheap loans and travel deals. But a bad score means public shame and worse. Huang Huijun lost a court case and didn't pay. Now he's on a government blacklist. I can't buy airplane or train tickets, he says, and the list goes on. Being discredited makes it hard to get a job or put kids in top schools. The social credit system will go nationwide next year, and few here are willing to criticize it. Something that may pose a risk itself for a bad score and the life that comes with it.
See, this is how this devil is gonna control your behavior. If you don't have a good enough credit score attached to your digital ID, because that's when you watch the first video, that's what he was talking about. So what if, okay, you got a digital ID, right? But what comes with that, right? What can happen with that? And this is what will happen with that. It's going to be attached to a social credit score. You don't have a good enough social credit score, you can't get a job here. Or you can't go shopping over here at this supermarket, right? Or you can't buy a plane ticket here. And this is what you're seeing. You say you got to go to court and you don't pay up your bread. Your social credit score drop. Or let's just say, hey, you can't use your money, this far from, your crib because your social credit score. However, they're going to bring you into this digital enslavement. This is the plan of the devil, bro. We're not ignorant to Satan's devices, right? So this is what the elders and apostles been, speaking about for years, man. All right. And we're seeing it take place right before our very eyes. This is Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 3. For the vision is yet for appointed time, but at the end it shall speak. You see, at the end it shall speak. This is speaking, and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. So basically what it's saying is like, the vision, everything has its appointed time to happen, man. Prophecy has to take, its full course. It has to take its, its time with, the way the Lord designed it to go. But at the end, it shall, everything that we've been speaking, starting from the elders and apostles of the great millstone on down, it shall speak. It's going to show itself, right? And it's going to be known that this is the truth. Even though, it didn't happen, this year, that year, it didn't come out this year, XYZ. Hey, wait for it, because it will surely come. And once it comes, once it's made manifest, you're going to see how fast this is going to move. And that's why a lot of people is going to be caught like a thief in the night, man. All right? A lot of them going to be caught like a thief in the night. Because I'm going to tell you like this, you're going to have some, because it's everything, the head of it is going to be the RFID micro C-HIP. You're going to have some hard down Christians that believe in pale-faced Jesus Christ that's not going to take this thing. But they're going to perish in vain, man. You're going to have some Jakes that are hard down Christians that's not going to take this, but they're going to perish in vain, man. However the Lord have their, deletion played out, they're going to feel the full wrath of that. You're going to have some Jakes that know that they're Israelites, that once was a part of this thing, that's going to be dealt with many stripes. That's going to feel like, I'm not going to take it, right? But you're going to feel the full wrath of the Lord. Or you going to have a lot of Jakes that's part of this thing that was a part of this thing that's going to take it, bro. Lord willing, I'm not, and none of my children are. You see? Lord willing, I'm of the elect, man. Lord willing, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai has the spirit on us to go through the things that we're about to go through with strength and salvation, covering us, because this is this devil right here with these videos we just watched. This is the image. This devil giving life to the image of the beast. This is the image of the beast. All these videos we just watched, that's going into the image of the beast, leading up to the MOTB, right? Like it speaks about in Revelations, the 13th chapter. He had power to give life unto the image of the beast, right? I'll get it. So Revelation 13 and 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed, right? So if you don't conform to this devil's NWO, right, his new world order, right, and get down, with this society, you're gonna have some brothers, gonna be deleted, man. We speak about that in Revelations, the 20th chapter. But when you go into that word kill,
Strong's G 615, apartaino.
Right, and it says to kill in any way, whatever, to destroy, to allow to perish, to extinguish, abolish, inflict mortal death, deprive of spiritual life, and procure external misery in hell, man. So you're not gonna be able to, participate in society. Okay, let's see something real quick. All right, of separation, of local separation, right? After verbs of motion from a place of departing, of fleeing, a separation of a part from the whole. So, like I said, you're not gonna be able, right, to participate in, this society. Meaning, that's the men of the Lord are gonna be trusting in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Just like, the Lord said, like how he, he took care of the children of Israel in the wilderness. He's going to reenact that work. Okay? But this time it's only for the elect. Okay? Of any kind of separation from one thing from another, by which the union or fellowship of two is destroyed. Okay? Of a state of separation. All right, so you get the point, man. Okay? So the men of the Lord are going to be separated. The men of the Lord and the women of the Lord and the children of the Lord are going to be separated, from society, trusting in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, because of this devil is coming down with great wrath. Okay? So this devil, Esau Edom, right? He's trying to bring, he will, but he will, but this is what the Lord said. What that is, Job 20 and 22. It says, in the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. When he is about to fill his belly, the Most High shall cast away the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he's eating. Right? So this devil is gonna he's going to make progress within his, his whole agenda, right? But when he think that, he got it in the bag, when he's about to fill his belly, the Lord say he's gonna cast the fury of his wrath upon him, man. Because we know, according to Job, the 14th chapter, the 5th verse, seeing that his days are determined. There's a start and stop date on Esau Edom's kingdom. So his days are determined, and the numbers of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. Okay? So he can only go so far. Right? But this is what's coming, man. So right here in America, you know, you wake up one day, you know, you think it's a normal day. You try to go get you some gas and your bank account not working. Oh no, well, you got to do this in order to, you feel me? And people gonna go out their wits. People not gonna know what to do, right? Because money has been the sayings, money rule the nation, money make everything go around, something like that, right? It's all about money, 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 the bag, right? When people got when you ain't got no money, you humble. When you got money, you kind of, you own one. If you can do something for yourself, go get you something to eat, you know what I'm saying? You straight. But if you ain't got nothing, you trying to see how to get something. So when this devil make his move, you gonna see who's going to, conform, who's going to be, head full in and going to conform with everything that he dishes out. Everything that he dishes out, because, they're not going to see anything past this, bro. Right? Because they wasn't built up in the spirit to understand that this is it. This is Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai allowing this devil to take himself out the way, allowing prophecy to happen. Okay? So this is what's coming right to America, man. So with that, Lord willing, you are edified. Shalom.